President, Congress, Sir Murray, Fire Brigade Union, seconding Comsite Motion 16. I'd like to start by paying tribute to all those who have been victims and have suffered as a consequence of blacklisting and police spying. We know that the Consulting Association had files on over 3,000 workers, and we know that 44 of the largest construction firms in the UK paid for these services, and we also know hundreds of other workers had their files destroyed when they were raided. I'd like to pay a special tribute to Dave Smith and the work he has done. Dave attended our conference this year and was a guest speaker at the Fringe meeting that I was chairing on blacklisting. The PAC meeting, it was held spellbound listening to Dave's story on the work of the Blacklist support group. The consulting agency had a 36-page file on Dave, and apparently he could be put on this list just for having a cup of tea and a bacon sandwich with him in the works canteen. He undoubtedly is troublesome. He wasn't, but by hell he is now. Dave and the Blacklist support group and the Union of Fighters, they're fighting for workers and they're fighting for workers' rights and workers' safety. They're an inspiration to us all and deserve our praise, our solidarity, and above all, Congress, our thanks. Every trade union in here will have had reps victimised at some point, and the FBU is no different. Last year we had our Executive Council member Ricky Matthews sacked for his trade union activities during our strikes on the National Pension dispute. And this year our own former National Women's Secretary, Kerry Baigent, won a case for unfair dismissal, which we know was related to her trade union activities. We don't know where the blacklisting has taken place in the fire service, but what we do know is that our members and officials have been sacked, disciplined, bullied, threatened because of trade union activities. However, what's new in all of this is the role of the police, including collaborating with employers against trade unionists. We've learned that the police have a digital database of at least 9,000 political campaigners, undoubtedly including a large number of trade unionists, and undoubtedly a large number of people in this room. Congress, we now know that members of the Police Special Demonstration Squad have been spying on trade unions and trade unionists. They've deployed well over 100 undercover officers into campaigning organisations and disgracefully been using the identities of dead children to provide their cover. We know that some of these officers now stand accused of carrying out illegal acts, framing activists and literally, and I mean literally, sleeping with their enemy. Anyone who attended the Fringe last night will have met Helen Steele, who after listening to her story, you couldn't fail to be moved. Congress, the FBU have been specifically targeted for a number of years in the press. As we've heard in the press, our former General Secretary Ken Cameron been spied on in the 80s during the Wapping dispute. Our current General Secretary Matt Rack been spied on in the 90s when he was a London FBU official, and we've always had suspicion of police intervention in our bit of pay dispute with the government in 2002. And to finish, Congress, the FBU and the other unions named in the Westminster has been spied on, the CWU, the NUT, NUS, Unison and of course UCAT. We want to know the full facts regarding police spying, and that means we must be given core participant status in the Pitchford inquiry into undercover policing. So Congress, back the motion, let's tackle blacklisting, police interference and spying on trade unions.
Thank you.